Yeah,
Be better than that.
yeah, well. Huh? Joe. Joe. Yes, ma'am. First chapter. Job. It'll be down. It'll be attached tight. If the wind blows it away, it's going to take the steeple first. So, all right. This morning, I'll be teaching, filling in for Al. He's going to be with his father in Miss India up in North Carolina. So, y'all remember them. They spend time with him. And so I'm clearly not in the book because Al is much better versed in it and has studied it a lot more. I couldn't study it all of it in a week, just for the portion that I would teach and know anywhere near what he knows on it. And so I would rather listen to him teach out of it. And so I picked this passage just what we go through on a daily basis and what we sometimes see as, wow, I'm being bombarded with a lot right now. That's really not fair. I shouldn't have to go through this, but that's not the way we should necessarily look at it. So we're going to start in Job chapter 1, verse 13. One day when Job's sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their oldest brother's house, a messenger came to Job and reported, while the oxen were plowing and the donkeys grazing nearby, the Sabeans swooped down and took them away. They struck down the servants with a sword, and I alone escaped to tell you. He was still speaking when another messenger came and reported, God's fire fell from heaven and burnt the sheep and the servants and devoured them. I alone have escaped to tell you. The messenger was still speaking when yet another came and reported, the Chaldeans formed three bands and raided on and made a raid on the camels and took them away. They struck down the servants with swords, and have I alone have escaped to tell you. He was still speaking when another messenger came and reported, your sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their oldest brother's house. Suddenly a powerful wind swept in from the desert, struck the four corners of the house. It collapsed on the young people, so they died. And I alone have escaped to tell you. Then Job stood up, tore his robes, and shaved his head. He fell on the ground and worshipped, saying, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will leave this life. The Lord gives, and the Lord takes away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. And this is the main verse. Throughout all this, Job did not sin or blame God for anything. When we face adversity, whatever it may be, we have to understand that you got to take the good with the bad. Well, it's a lot easier to take the bad if you have a rock to hold on to. it wasn't probably a year after we had moved to the ranch and had bought cattle and started growing. And April's daddy, mom and daddy had come over for a visit. And I had put a bull in the two bulls in the pen to feed and grow. They were yearlings. They were probably 14 months, 15 months old. They were getting close to being able to use them for breeding purposes. And me and Mr. Bruce were riding down to the pens on the gator, and I looked over, and there's a bull standing next to the fence with his back feet up off the ground. It's like, that ain't good. Pull around there. He had been scratching his chin on the gate and slid it over, and it dropped down between the gate and the gate post, and he hung himself. He could not get it back up high enough to get it out. And it happened during the night or early in the morning. And I was like, well, I guess I better go get the tractor and dig a hole. And, you know, it happens on farms. You're going to lose livestock. I mean, that's just a common occurrence. You don't like it to happen. You don't want it to happen. I had plans for that bull, but that's not the way it worked out. And so we have to be able to face some adversity. I don't know why. I didn't ask why this happened to us. Why did we lose this bull? Job here lost everything he had except for his wife. He still had the property, but he lost all his livestock and all of his children. And if you read it this way, in probably under an hour, he found out all this. I mean, just bam, 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 bam. It just kept on coming. He couldn't even he couldn't even be frustrated with the loss of the oxen and the donkeys before he found out about the sheep being burned up. He couldn't be frustrated with that before he found out about the camels and all his servants being killed. And then he finds out his children were killed. Did he do anything wrong? No. The only thing he did wrong was that he was righteous, and he feared the Lord. And Satan had come before the Lord in the previous verses, talking about how he had done all these things, and we want to be godly people. We want to be righteous people, but I don't know that I want the Lord saying, "Hey, you seen my servant David over there? He's doing really good. He fears me. I just don't think I want the Lord mentioning my name like that, because this would be a really hard task." And so we have to. This is why we have to study every day, because if you get away from it, you don't have you're not where you need to be. God hasn't moved, we've moved, and you're not as close to him, and you can't rely on him like you need to, and he wants you to. Job didn't pitch a fit. He didn't say, round up whatever people you can, let's chase these people down and kill them. Nope. He praised the Lord. that would be, to me, that would be sort of a strange, because that wouldn't be in my nature. I would probably want revenge, but he didn't. He went to exactly where everything came from. I came into this world with nothing. I'll go out just the same. What I have been blessed with came from the Lord. And so I'm not going to lose my religion. I'm not going to lose my cool over the loss of these things that the Lord gave me as a blessing while I'm here on this earth. When I was growing up, I got to listen to Jerry Clowers. He was as funny a comedian as I've ever heard, and just as clean as he could be. And he tells a story of his son was in a car wreck, and he got the call and said, "Miss Clowers, we found your son. Car's in a ditch, and we don't know what his condition is yet. We haven't been able to get to him, but please come." And he said, "I'm on my way." And the whole time he's driving to this wreck, he's talking to the Lord, saying, "Help me to act responsibly. Help me to act, whether he's alive or dead. I'm going to praise you, just as Job did here." And that's hard. That is really hard, and that's what we face every day. But he knew his son was saved. He didn't fear that. Death was not the worst thing. Separation is the only hard thing. Death was not the hard thing, because he knew where he was going. So that's a very good reassurance. Those of us that have loved ones that we don't know where they're going, that's hard.
Very hard.
Yes. So Job's children, he knew where they were going. That wasn't his fear. We have to surround ourselves with people that believe like we do, understand what we believe. I don't understand in chapter 2, this next part where Job